Who's the real villain here? Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Disney characters who are actually the villain.
And finding someone to replace you for Poison Checker has been a disaster. Nothing's been poisoned, thank God, but it hasn't been easy. You didn't make it easy.
Think you know Kingdom Hearts? Click below to sign in with your Google or Facebook account and take the new trivia quiz on WatchMojo.com. For this list, we're looking at characters from Disney and Pixar films whose actions are more villainous or at least less heroic than they first appear to be.
I simply wish to have the cats inherit first. Then, at the end of their lifespan, my entire estate will revert to Edgar.
Cats inherit first, and I come after the cats.
Number 10. Aladdin. Aladdin.
Morning, ladies.
Getting into trouble a little early today, aren't we, Aladdin?
Trouble? No way.
Not a lot of characters in Aladdin come off well upon reflection. And while it was tempting to give this entry to the Sultan, given that his incompetent rule leads to many of the other characters' problems, we had to ultimately choose the title character himself. While he is a lovable rogue, Aladdin is also a thief, although for the most part that's forgivable. More importantly though, Aladdin attempts to deceive Jasmine and the entire kingdom in order to get what he wants, which is basically exactly what Jafar is doing.
You really ought to be yourself.
Hey, that's the last thing I want to be. Okay, I'm gonna go see her. I gotta be smooth.
Granted, his motives are slightly better, since they're out of a desire for love rather than power, but he's still not exactly a paragon of virtue.
Why did you lie to me?
Jasmine, I'm sorry.
Did you think I was stupid?
No!
That I wouldn't figure it out?
No, I mean, I hoped you wouldn't.
Number 9. Woody. Toy Story. Listen, we love Woody, but we have to admit that he can come across as kind of a jerk, particularly in the first Toy Story film.
You are a toy! You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear, you're an action figure! You are a child's plaything!
The cowboy toy bosses the other toys around by virtue of being Andy's favorite. When he feels his position is threatened, he tries to take Buzz out of the picture and ends up creating even more problems for himself.
Wait a minute, you don't think I meant to knock Buzz out the window, do you, Potato Head?
That's Mr. Potato Head to you, you backstabbing murderer.
No, it was an accident, guys, come on. Now, you gotta believe me.
Then there's the fact that he traumatizes Sid, a nominal antagonist who's just a kid doing what kids do to toys. He had no way of knowing they were intelligent sentient beings because of their need to keep the fact that they're alive a secret. Unless they need to scare children, apparently.
We toys can see everything.
So play nice.
No, you play nice, Woody.
I think the word you're searching for is Space Ranger.
The word I'm searching for, I can't say because there's preschool toys present.
Number 8. King Triton, The Little Mermaid. Disney movies feature plenty of overprotective parents, and arguably one of the worst examples of one who isn't overtly an antagonist is King Triton. Father of Ariel and the ruler of Atlantica, Triton displays a callous hatred for and prejudice towards humans.
You could have been seen by one of those barbarians, by one of those humans.
Daddy, they're not barbarians.
They're dangerous. Do you think I want to see my youngest daughter snared by some fish-eater's hook?
This causes conflict between him and his daughter, who is fascinated by them.
I tried to stop us. She wouldn't listen. I told her to stay away from humans. They are bad. They are trouble.
Humans? What about humans?
His draconian rule pushes Ariel towards reckless acts of rebellion to pursue her passions and escape his ever-tightening hold over her life.
I set certain rules, and I expect those rules to be obeyed.
But Dad...
Is it true you rescued a human from drowning?
Daddy, I had to...
Contact between the human world and the mer world is strictly forbidden. Ariel, you know that!
Additionally, had Triton not exiled Ursula for unspecified reasons, it's likely that Ariel would not have been able to turn to the Sea Witch for help. Though we'll grant that it may have been the villainess's lack of trustworthiness that led to her exile in the first place.
Yes, I do.
Number 7. Emperor Kuzco, the Emperor's New Groove. The eponymous monarch of the Emperor's New Groove, Kuzco is a spoiled, callous ruler before the story begins, and during much of the film.
No! You threw off my groove!
I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
Kuzco treats everyone around him as though they're beneath him, without regard for their feelings, since he frequently insults them.
Hate your hair. Not likely. Yikes, 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 and let me guess, you have a great personality. Is this really the best you could do?
He also doesn't seem to care about their lives, like when he plans to build his new palace on Pacha's land.
Booyah! Welcome to Kuzco-topia, my ultimate summer getaway, complete with water slide.
What?
Isn't it great? It's my birthday gift to me.
Given that Yzma practically raised him, we can see why he turned out the way he did, and why she tried to overthrow him. But that still does not excuse his appalling behavior.
Good, good. That's just what I wanted to hear.
Number 6. Elsa and Anna's parents. Frozen. Elsa and Anna's parents, the King and Queen of Arendelle, both love their daughters, but their attempts at helping them cause much of the film's conflict. Following Elsa inadvertently injuring Anna with her powers, the monarchs take Anna to some trolls to be healed.
Do what you must. I recommend we remove all magic, even memories of magic, to be safe.
Although the troll solution and cryptic advice also factor into the unfortunate events that follow, the King and Queen's misinterpretation of their advice leads them to isolate their daughters from one another.
Lock the gates. We'll reduce the staff. We will limit her contact with people and keep her powers hidden from everyone, including Anna.
It also causes Elsa to feel like there's something wrong with her, which is definitely something that should be avoided when parenting.
The gloves will help. See? Conceal it.
Don't feel it.
Don't let it show.
Number 5. Joy. Inside Out. The perpetually peppy leader of the personified emotions of a young girl named Riley, Joy has the best interests of her human at heart.
I can't believe Mom and Dad moved us here.
Look, I get it. You guys have concerns, but we've been through worse. Tell you what, let's make a list of all the things Riley should be happy about.
But her methods are what ultimately cause most of the issues dealt with in the movie. Joy wants Riley to be happy, but her need to monopolize control leads her to exclude the other emotions, especially sadness, whose neglect leaves Riley unable to process how she feels about moving to a new city.
Hey, Sadness, you touched a memory? We talked about this.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Get back in your circle.
Joy's quest also leads her on an obsessive journey that ultimately leads to the death of an imaginary friend.
Don't you get it, Joy? We're stuck down here. We're forgotten.
Although she learns a costly lesson, she could have saved everyone some heartache if she'd been more willing to cede control or the spotlight to others.
Because that gave us plenty of time to think about what our new house is going to look like. What? Let's review the top 5 daydreams.
Number 4. The Elephants. Dumbo. The titular young big-eared elephant faces plenty of adversities throughout the film, almost from the moment of his birth, due to being different from his peers.
Is it possible?
Isn't there some mistake?
Just look at those. E-A-R-S.
His fellow circus pachyderms mock him for his oversized lobes, as does nearly everyone else he encounters.
After all, who cares about her precious little Jumbo?
Jumbo? You mean Dumbo?
Dumbo.
Although at first protected by his mother, they are separated when her protective nature is mistaken for general aggression. Despite being practically orphaned, Dumbo isn't taken in by his fellow elephants, who continue ridiculing him for a quirk of his genetics.
It's all the fault of that little F-R-E-A-K.
Yes, him with those ears that only a mother could love.
This leaves him without a support system and causes him to endure further embarrassment and hardships. He sure is lucky he has Timothy Q. Mouse.
Don't forget that we elephants have always walked with dignity. His disgrace is our own shame.
Number 3. Peter Pan. Peter Pan.
Tink! Shh! Stop playing.
Tinkerbell may be an attempted murderer, but Peter Pan himself doesn't exactly have a spotless track record. Although he battles pirates, Peter doesn't really have the moral high ground when he does stuff like cut off his enemy's hand and feed it to a crocodile.
Did Pan show good form when he did this to me?
Aye, Captain. Cutting your hand off was only a childish prank, you might say.
Aye, but throwing it to that crocodile.
Even worse, if you think about it, Peter is an adult in the body of a child, who lures a group of kids away from their parents' house in the middle of the night to put them in dangerous, life-threatening situations.
Well, come on, Wendy. Let's go.
Where are we going? To Neverland. Neverland?
Peter's taking us.
Us?
Not exactly heroic behavior.
She says you're a big, ugly girl.
Number 2, the Enchantress, Beauty and the Beast. While we were tempted to choose the eponymous beast for this entry, given how many of his actions mirror the actual villain Gaston's, ultimately we found that the true villain of the story is the Enchantress, who curses the beast in the first place.
And when he dismissed her again, the old woman's ugliness melted away to reveal a beautiful enchantress.
After the prince rejects her request to spend the night in his castle based on her appearance, which is a disguise by the way, the Enchantress condemns not only him to spend years as a monster, but also curses his servants to spend years as inanimate objects, for literally no reason.
And as punishment, she transformed him into a hideous beast and placed a powerful spell on the castle and all who lived there.
Sounds like entrapment and cruel and unusual punishment to us.
You have been deceived by your own cold heart. A curse upon your house and all within it.
Before we get to our top pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions.
I regrettably have a full-time gig that you, by the way, so charitably bestowed on me, Zeus. So, can't. Love to, but can't.
You ought to slow down. You work yourself to death.
I really felt quite distressed at not receiving an invitation.
You weren't wanted.
Not what? Oh dear, what an awkward situation. I had hoped it was merely due to some oversight.
It's all part of their plan to ruin our musical. And Troy and his basketball robots are obviously behind it. Why do you think he auditioned? After all the hard work you've put into this show. It just doesn't seem right.
Oh, that scaffy witch gave me a gammy spell. It's not my fault. I didn't ask her to change you into a bear. I just wanted her to change you.
Daddy, please, listen to him.
Silence! When you first came here, you asked for judgment. And I pass it now. Exile!
No! Number 1, the Nicelanders and Fix-It Felix Jr., Wreck-It Ralph.
It is what it is.
Good job, everyone.
Felix and the Nicelanders go hang out in their homes, which he's just fixed, and everyone, you know.
Sometimes people don't live up to their names. The Nicelanders, the inhabitants of the town that the title video game villain continuously wrecks, consistently exclude Ralph from their lives, as they believe that his role in the game defines who he is.
Happy 30th anniversary? They're having a party without me.
Similarly, they treat Fix-It Felix Jr. as a good guy, because that's his job. Speaking of which, while Felix is generally more kind to Ralph than the others, he's still rather ignorant of Ralph's feelings, and prioritizes the needs of the Nicelanders over Ralph.
Felix, pull yourself together.
No! Ralph, you don't know what it's like to be rejected and treated like a criminal.
Yes, I do. That's every day of my life.
While all of them end up treating Ralph better eventually, most of the film's events wouldn't have happened if they were just nice to someone they've known for ages.
I'm gonna wreck it.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.